I'm James Chingy. This is Kung Fu Havoc number 2. This is my second thing about what was posted on Facebook about how would you make the X-Men movie better. Since I've been an X-Men fan damn near since the beginning, because X-Men came out 10 years before I was born. So I missed a lot. X-Men was released in 1963. Couldn't give you the exact month, but the date is 1963. I was born in 1973. I started reading about 1975, 76, somewhere in the age of 3 and 7. You know, I really got into them by the time I was about 13. By then, I really knew the X-Men, and I owe that to Spider-Man. So, anyway, because of crossover comics. Alright, so, like I said in the other video, first thing I would do is only hire people who know 0 to 5 of the first X-Men comics. So for those who are too young to know that, you would pick up an X-Men Comics Classic, or X-Men Classics of the Uncanny X-Men. Alright, so that way you would know about the Shi'ar Empire, you would know about Lilandra, you would know about Magneto, you would know about all the first 5 X-Men. And I would only focus on those first 5 X-Men and their first battle against Magneto. I would focus, like, that first half hour of the movie would specifically be on Xavier and Cerebro collecting these mutants. Cyclops was his first X-Men. And then along came Jean Grey. And then Iceman, and then Beast, and then Angel. Now, my memory's a little short on the order of the last 3 and who came to the door first. But also, there would not be Kitty Pryde, there would not be Colossus, there would not be Wolverine, there would not be any of the mutants from the second class of the X-Men. There would only be the first 5, which would be Cyclops, Jean, Iceman, Angel, and Beast. That's it. And Xavier. The enemy, as in the first comic, would be Magneto. Without questions, no flunkies, just Magneto. The Danger Room would be involved. So like in that first half hour, you'll have Meet the X-Men. You'll have Cyclops and them all get met by Xavier, and it wouldn't be none of these non-616 storylines. Everything that I would do would have to be in the 616. The way I was reading them when I was a kid. Everything would be 616. It wouldn't be nothing else. And on the byline, as soon as it comes across that you're watching an X-Men movie, it would say X-Men 616. And if you want to know why that is, it would be because that would be the universe in which we're doing. So, to throw a hint back at Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool, which timeline, McAvoy or Stewart, I would say definitely Stewart and definitely the 616. Alright? So that way, there would be no confusion. First 5 X-Men, 616, Xavier. Stewart. Anyway, providing that he was alive and I was the director. So, the first meeting that I would have with the actors is like, look, you're Jean, you're Scott, you're Beast, you're Iceman, and you, my friend, are Angel. There would be no gender changes, no ethnicity changes, none of that bullshit that they did with the Fantastic Four. Not that I don't appreciate the Human Torch being black, but I would set this shit up so that it is exactly right. Good storytelling, minimum action with maximum effort. So after they deal with Magneto, if there's a sequel, then it would take place 3 to 5 years later. Now, not actually 3 to 5 years later, but the same cast would have to also sign on for 3 movies. So the first movie would be their establishment movie. The second movie would be their notability movie. So you'll know who the fuck they are. You would have known them because I would have broke in with maybe their second movie adventure. They would have already had a history of fighting Magneto, and then they would go against the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, which is also led by Magneto. And in that movie, I would introduce the Hellfire Club and Sebastian Shaw, and the Black Queen, the White Queen, the Black and White King, which would be Sebastian Shaw and the other guy, I can't remember his name. And then I would also bring in those droids, And then I would introduce the young New Mutants to come and back them up, which would include Thunderbird, Banshee, Sunfire, need I go on, Nightcrawler, Kitty Pryde, Wolverine, Storm, and I can't remember if Dazzler was there before Rogue, if Rogue was there before Dazzler, but I would have both of them in there. They would not get any origins. You would just see them as young mutants training in the Danger Room in the New Mutant costumes as they're coming through. Also, I would introduce the younger New Mutants as well as the new X-Men coming in. And they will all be like, okay, so the original 5 X-Men would get in trouble. So we'll bring in the new 12 members of the X-Men, starting with Sunfire and them, and they would be led by Storm, as in the comic book. And unfortunately, Banshee and Thunderbird will get the axe because in his maiden mission, he fucking died. And I think this caused some trauma with Sunfire leaving the team and whatever. You know, I would try to do it as close to that episode of the comic book as possible. And then I would also introduce the young New Mutants in there towards the end, where they would come in and I would have Cannonball like bouncing off of shit. And then I would also introduce the Exterminators in there. And possibly I would bring in Psylocke so she could spin off Excalibur with her brother Brian Braddock, who is technically a mutant plus magic. So, you know, because she's a mutant, he's a mutant also because they're twins, but he also has magic powers. And I forgot how that all kind of spread it out. It's some real clusterfuck story there, but, you know, and she wouldn't be Asian in this go round. And then in that third installment, I would have A Death in Dallas, or Fall of the Mutants. So that way I could set it all up so it would be just like the comic book, and that way I would improve or disprove, but I would only use the X-Men in that era. You know, so first 5 X-Men in the first movie, the first 5 plus the other 12, I would find a way to put them all in there on some level or another, even if the movie has to be like 3 hours long like Doom or something. And then when I make the third movie, I would introduce the New Mutants who will spawn off into X-Force. And if I'm lucky, I can spawn off a franchise of turning the X-Men, the first 5, into X-Factor. The New Mutants, the first 17 of them, turn those guys into X-Factor. Unless I can get a New Mutants movie and then turn that into the X-Factor, the X-Force, excuse me, and then splinch them off because none of them became Generation X. But Jubilee is the only one who's been on the X-Men and downsized to another team, which was Generation X, where everyone who was a New Mutant became X-Force. Except Danielle Moonstar became a Valkyrie. Sunspot quit and decided that he was going to go run his father's business in Brazil. Cannonball jumped from team to team. Havoc jumped from team to team. You know, so I would arrange it so that you get the history of all of them and why they're jumping from team to team. But what I would really do if you want to go that deep into it is I'd just be a director for the series on Netflix and then just start spinning them off. Yeah, that's exactly what I would do. So Marvel, if you're listening and I need a job really, really badly, and I have a history with X-Men, I have a history of almost every X comic or Marvel comic more than DC, but I'm game to work, even with DC. So, you know, I'm there. I have it up here. I have comics in my basement. I'm loaded with information. You know, so it is what it is. But I need work. So therefore, I would do that. Now, in the end, I would hope to give a product that would specifically cater people towards X-Men. Now, I'm still having a little issue on what I would actually put them in. Because they did all right with the black leather. You know, they did all right. I'm not sure if the world would be ready for black and yellow spandex. They might be, but they might not be. You know, because the boots had those big cups on them. So I don't know if they'd be ready for that. You know what I mean? If you watch all those old Captain America movies and stuff, I don't know if the kids of this generation can handle the cartoon boots or the comic book type clothing or spandex and shit. Where my generation, had that been made in the spandex, we would have been ready for the yellow and black spandex. Which, if you remember the first movie, Wolverine had hinted to Cyclops. He says, "You guys go out in this stuff." He said, "Yeah, would you prefer yellow and black spandex?" So he hinted at it, which was a throwback and a thrill for me. Jeez. So, no. Depending on who's down with it, that's what I would do. And now I'm going to make a third video about this. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm James Williams Jr. Come back with number 2. Cheese Pizza Rolls.